Okay. So there isn't anything more. Hello. There isn't anything more for me, and I think for probably everybody else, tedious and labor intensive and mess making, then are you recording me? Thank you, because all right. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I didn't get a chance to put makeup on today, so if I look like I just woke up, I apologize. I know I'm a little horrified. Wait a minute, I'm horrified for you. So there you go. So this is kind of in a sense, a paczka proof, although it's a lot of paczka in the beginning, but it's a paczka proof latke recipe. So I started and I shred my potatoes, and I'm going to shred some potatoes here. So I shredded my potatoes, put it in water so they soak so they don't turn black, because it will oxidize and turn black if you don't have it soaking in water. I also have it sitting in a colander to make it easy to drain. So is it cold water? It's cold water. So what I did, and a way to help them cook a little better, thank you, thanks. And a way to help them cook a little bit better is to, if you use a food processor, which is the easiest way to do it. Oh, I can't move this, right? I can move this. Thank you. I need it a little closer. Okay, perfect. So food processor, the one I have is it's a double blade. So there's a wider grater on this side and a more narrow grater on this side. If you do your potatoes half and half, half on the wide, and then I'm going to turn it over and do my other potatoes on the narrow one, helps it cook faster and a lot more even, and it gives a little creamier and softer inside rather than just shredded potatoes, which end up being kind of like a home fry. So I don't, but I will tell you that these are russet potatoes. These are russet potatoes. I also don't peel the potatoes. I wash them really, really well. All the vitamins are in the skin, number one, but more importantly, it's too much work. And when they're, it's true. And when they're grated, that's all you see is that little bit. So it really doesn't matter. And you're getting all the vitamins. So we're gonna, here's my other piece. We're gonna grate these on the thinner side. And it goes so fast. It's so nice. And it is a Cuisinart. It's a newer one. Yeah, it's a new one. I always think, well, what do I need that for? And then I always, for some reason, need it. So I wasn't going to buy a new Cuisinart because my Cuisinart was perfectly fine. But then I koshered my kitchen and everything needed to be done. So I'm going to put all these extra bits in there because we want it all. And you have a choice with these pieces that usually never get processed. If you're doing it for company, don't do it because it gets chunky and it's like, what is this in there? It's supposed to all be smooth. But if you're doing it for your family, keep those pieces in there. They're going to bake and they're going to be just fine. So I'm going to put this in the water. Now, what's also happening and why I have the colander in there is the water is draining down, and accumulating at the bottom of the bowl is potato starch. I have potato starch out there. It's the same potato starch that you use at Passover, but there isn't anything that will taste better or work better than the natural potato starch. And that's what you're accumulating at the bottom of that bowl, and you'll see it. Next, I'm going to do the onion. And I've lined a bowl with paper towels because you really want to squeeze out your onion. Let's get this on there. And we're going to use the wide side, the larger grater. Just a whole onion.
Do you eventually squeeze the potatoes?
Oh, yeah.
So everything's got water in it.
Everything's got water in it. And you've got to get rid of all the water.
Do you salt the water?
Do I salt the water? No. Who asked me that? No, I don't. Because the water will draw the salt out. The salt will draw the water out of the vegetables, but you're also have no control over it. And your vegetables are absorbing the salt. So then if you salt it again, when you cook it, you have a tendency to over salt. So I don't salt the water.
How much is you soak the potatoes?
Just as long as you need to finish up your potatoes and finish up your onion.
Benita, can I make a comment?
Yes.
It is totally unrelated, but this is something my mother taught me.
Okie doke.
About potatoes and salt.
Yes.
Like if you're cooking something, a soup or a broth or something, or whatever you're cooking, and you make it too salty, throw a potato in it and it'll leach out.
Yes. So the new thing this year, because every year they come up with something for potato latkes, because we don't have enough information about potato latkes. If you fry them in a pan and you put a carrot in there, it prevents whatever you're frying from burning.
Yes.
And when your carrot will burn, take it out, put a fresh carrot in, and continue your frying. Now,
Anything you're frying?
from that's what I hear.
Wow.
This is all news to me. So I haven't tried. Actually, I did try it because I made latkes with Chabad of Anthem last Tuesday night, and that's where I heard about it. So that was real. There are purists in the world that only believe that latkes should be made hand grated.
Yes. With blood.
What? And flesh with a little knuckle.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm not one of those people because, life's too short. So there's a big piece of onion. We're going to, that's paper towels lined in the bowl. And
So you don't squeeze out you don't wring out the onions the way you would wring out the potatoes after.
yeah, you do.
Oh, you do?
You have to. Yeah, you'll see. So I'm going to let them sit in there a little bit while I'm working on the potatoes.
What's the proportion?
So the recipe that I used, so I will tell you that, I don't know if you've heard of Adina Sussman. Adina Sussman is a kosher cookbook author. And actually, I should have left my gloves on. Adina Sussman is a kosher cookbook author. And I follow her on Facebook. I don't do Instagram. Everybody's doing Instagram. I'm not doing Instagram. Let's get this. Anyway, so she showed this on Facebook last week because I always like to do these cooking demonstrations in conjunction with the Jewish holidays so that you go home with something new and different that you didn't know or didn't eat before. she did this latke board, which just like a cheese board, like a charcuterie board. So that's what this is. I'm going to move these back a little bit. Anyway, her recipe is, I think her recipe was 2 pounds of potatoes, 3 eggs, a teaspoon. So, and I'm not to proportion here, so, you know, you'll forgive me. But I know the recipe was 2 pounds of potatoes, a large onion, a 1/4 cup of potato starch. If you're going to save the potato starch from your potatoes, use that and then add. You can also use flour. You can also use matzo meal. Yes.
So potato starch is in the water though.
Oh, you'll see what happens.
So you.
Oh, no, it becomes a paste at the bottom of your bowl.
Thank you.
It becomes a paste at the bottom of your bowl. So let me get rid of this.
Can I ask you a question?
You
How
can.
about, Saute onion, rather than just with the onion. saute
Well, you
onion.
know what? It cooks, so you're adding an extra step that you really don't need to do because they cook when you fry or when you bake. So as far as the potatoes are concerned, we're back to the potatoes. I'm using russet potatoes. You can also use 2 pounds of Yukon Gold. You're going to get a creamier, lighter potato latke, a little bit more like a pancake, like really a potato pancake rather than a hash brown type, because it's a real soft potato to begin with. Those for sure you don't want. Little red potatoes, use any kind of potatoes. In the board that I have going in the oven, I put some yams in there just to give it a different taste. You can do all sweet potatoes. You can put zucchini, you can put carrot. It's endless. You can do it all. You can mix it with potato, half and half, a pound of carrot, a pound of potato. Understand the water content will be very, very different. So it may bake up a little bit different, but all right, let's move this out of the way. And no, you will, but not today. You're working on it? Did you find, okay. All right, so we're gonna take that out. I'm going to sit it on top of that bowl for the rest. Now, if you see the water has all of the color. That's what you don't want to eat. So we're going to empty that out. Oh, not that much starch. And if you look at the bottom of the bowl, and the last batch I made was really caked. But if you look at the bottom of the bowl, that white is the potato starch. Now these potatoes maybe didn't sit long enough or have a chance to drain long enough and have the potato starch come down to the bottom. So that was probably the failure of my demonstration. It was so good on the batch before, but there you go. All right, so to keep it nice and clean for you, you know, I always use gloves. It's up to you whether you want to use gloves at home. It's a lot easier and you don't have to wash your hands 15 times. So that helps too. Let me unplug this. Oh, I almost unplugged everything, but I'll leave it alone. No, I was just going to unplug the food processor. So in a perfect world, the bottom of your bowl would be kind of covered in this white paste, and that would be your potato starch. We're going to wipe it out so that we at least start with the dry bowl. There we go. I'm going to do this in the sink, but I'm going to press it down to get the water out. And then as I put it in the bowl, I'm going to squeeze it. You see, I have very, very little water left because it had an opportunity to very, very little water left. It'll be very, very different with the onions. I've never had my husband stand here and watch before. Usually he just shows up at dinner time, so. Okay, I'm not going to use all the potatoes because the bowl's a little small. Here's what you want to do at this point. One of the keys to making this potato board is you're going to bake it in the oven. But what you want to do, sheet pan, now this is a professional size sheet pan. The recipe of 2 pounds of potatoes will make a half sheet, right? So it's the smaller sheet pan, kind of half of that. Pour oil in. And I'll bring it over here so you see it on the camera.
Healthier. We're not.
Pardon?
You're making it, not.
Yeah, well, but you're still going to have oil because
Yeah,
that's the whole idea.
right. Of course.
So can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So we're going to put oil, not an inch, but enough to cover the bottom. We're going to stick the pan in the oven. Because the one,
Olive oil.
I'm using olive oil. Number one, olive oil heats up faster and you get the flavor. It's a flavor for oil, flavorful oil. So it's going to add flavor to your, if you were doing this not parve or not dairy, my suggestion would be chicken schmaltz because nothing's better than potatoes and onions and chicken schmaltz. So we're just gonna, if you can see what I'm doing, just getting all the areas of the pan and I'm gonna put it in the oven. When the oil gets really, really hot, it's ready. You might see it smoke. If you can leave it to smoke, that would be great because that cooks the bottom so that your bottom is nice and crispy as a latke should be. So I'm gonna stick this in the oven.
Yeah. What degree?
425. And that's just going to get hot. Okay, you can open. Onions. So my onions have been sitting here in the water for a while. We're just going to squeeze out all the water. So it's been absorbing. It's a lot easier to do it. If you've got towels that you're ready to throw away, kitchen towel, anything, use that. Paper towels are great. Cheesecloth would be great. And try to get out all of the water because it'll cook better, fry better. If you're going to make them on the cooktop, which you can use this as individual latkes. It won't, the grease won't jump up and hit you in the face. If
the onions in water?
No, this is all the water that comes out of the onion. And that's a lot of water.
It's just one onion.
And that was just one onion. Yep. So you want to get that all out of there. There you go. There was only a use for onion juice. Is there a holistic use for onion juice? It would be terrific. Okay. Eggs. I'm going to put in 4 eggs. The recipe is 2 pounds and 3 eggs, a 1/4 cup of potato starch for the recipe, not what I'm doing. A 1/4 cup of potato starch, a teaspoon of salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, and that's it. So as you know, we have to break the eggs in a glass to make sure that there's no blood on them. I'm going to use 4 eggs. We were in California a few
So
weeks
you
ago.
don't beat up the eggs up together before you.
You
put them
could.
in. I mean.
You could, you know what? That would dirty another bowl.
It would.
So you have to think if you want to clean up another bowl. Otherwise, they'll mix up great. So we were in California a couple weeks ago in Northern California. Eggs are $9.99 a dozen up there.
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing ever. And then you buy 2 dozen at Costco for $4.99.
Or you go to your daughter's and take it.
Or you drive on Earl and 32nd Street and follow a chicken, because there's chickens and roosters. Oh my goodness, yes. And at 32nd Street and Flower, there's peacocks and peahens. They just walk around. They're wild, and they just walk around. And do you know what? We can never find the eggs. No, seriously, because the roosters won't let you near the chickens. They're very, very possessive of their chick. So when you see a chicken walking across the street, and sometimes her little chicks are behind her, if you go near her, out of nowhere, a rooster comes and walks beside her. They are very chivalrous. Some guys could really learn from them. Okay. There we go.
What percent of the time when you're cracking an egg, you find blood? I'm just curious.
For me, 0,
Oh,
but it's a precaution
of course.
that you have to take. So, and it depends, I think that when eggs were farmed and whatever, it's different today, but still you take the proportion. So I'm going to do 4 eggs. I'm going to put in, I don't know. When I cook, I kind of don't usually use a recipe. It's baking where the recipe, you kind of just eyeball it. So that's about a half cup, and that's because I have more potatoes. And so we do want to absorb any liquid that comes out. And then,
Is that the purpose of the potato starch?
absolutely, yeah, to thicken it up, give it some body. I'm going to use almost a tablespoon of salt. And because for me, it's never too salty. And we'll
How
do,
come you didn't use the potato starch that you collected?
because there was hardly any at the bottom, and certainly not enough. And so it depends on your potatoes, honestly, as to how much starch they give off. Okay, so I'm going to mix this up with your hands. Your hands are your best utensil, always. This also is going to create a lot of liquid at the bottom. So you're going to want to let it sit a little bit, let everything incorporate. The salt will bring out some more liquid. And you're going to think it's a lot of waste, and it kind of looks like a lot of waste of the egg and whatever, but everything will incorporate.
Is there a discernible difference between, in the end result, between using flour and potato starch?
I don't think so. I think it's more, potato starch, more of a natural product to use with the potatoes, but I mean, that was in the freezer because it was unopened from Passover. And so, I always end up buying, I think I'll need 2, and then use 1 tablespoon of potato starch, and that's it. You throw away the open one, you freeze the other one. So that's what this is. So work it real well.
So, if you don't use potato starch,
Flour,
flour or.
matzah meal.
Okay.
Potato starch is gluten-free for people that are gluten-free.
Isn't that a good idea? You see, you learn something new every day. It's true. I never think of it because nobody in my family is gluten-free, and so I don't have that thought process that goes on. There we go. So that looks very pretty. We're going to let that just sit. I have some more potatoes in there that.
The oven's 425?
The oven's at 425. So I need to move all that stuff over here. My helpful helper. Can you help me with this one? This is Mushka Levertov, my substitute sous chef. Thank you. We're just going to move all of those things over here. Let me wipe that a little bit. So I do have a latke board in the oven and lots of different toppings. Also in your recipe that Rabbi is working on, there's suggestions for different toppings. Now, here was the best part of doing this. Thank you. I know, these all look so good, don't they? I need to organize them with this and this. No applesauce, because I didn't want to do anything traditional today. I also usually make my own applesauce. It's the easiest thing in the world. Kind of better if you peel your apples, but you don't necessarily have to. Thank you so much, sweetie. Better if you peel your apples, but applesauce is, you just chunk up apples, honey, lemon juice, cinnamon, no sugar, and taste to your taste. How sweet do you want it? Do that much honey. How savory do you want it? Excuse me, figure out how much cinnamon that'll take, taste it, and just cook it down and leave it chunky. I like to leave it chunky. Okay. Put them in.
I put them in the slow cooker with cinnamon and don't add anything else, and it's always perfect, and I never have to worry about the time. I finish it at that 7.
Well, since I don't have a slow cooker.
Because I used to burn it on the stove.
Although
I
somebody.
couldn't do it on the stove, I always burnt it.
Oh.
That was my challenge with it, so.
Stacy makes the best.
And now.
I love it.
Bring it to you. She makes, tell her how she makes the best
between 3 and 6 varieties of apples.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
I quarter them, pour them, peel them, which that's the hardest part is the peeling, and then put it.
Not if you have an attachment for your KitchenAid, just stick it in the thing,
Yeah,
and then it peels. I do. I have an attachment for my KitchenAid. I'm sorry. Go on.
I just got a KitchenAid.
Ah, okay.
But anyway, I just quarter them and I put them. I have a big Dutch oven. Put them in my oven at 350, I think, for up to 3 hours.
Huh.
And sweet. There's nothing in it but apples.
Lovely.
And it's always great.
Really?
Yeah.
No honey, no. Oh, yum.
It's fabulous.
Lovely. Very, very lovely. I'm going to take the pan of potato, of the oil. You know what? I'm going to put it on the counter so you could see it. So give me a second. You're all going to eat, so we'll be eating soon. Okay, let's put this sweet stuff over here.
You're gonna tell us the topics?
I'm going to tell you, yes, I'm going to tell you everything. But first, I want to get the other one in the oven. I know. I would work on both sides, but then I don't have a camera, and then you wouldn't be able to see anything but the countertop. So, in a perfect world, the potatoes will sizzle when you put them into the pan that has been in the oven for a while. It's very hot, so be very, very careful. You know what, also, Rabbi,
Yeah, I actually handed it out.
Oh.
that's the
Oh,
difference.
I just gave
Is that in there? Oh, excellent. He's great. All righty. So now you've got your piping hot oil. Be very, very careful. You're going to want to spread this out on your pan. Be careful. And it's almost like squeeze it as you're taking it out. So you see there's liquid in there. So continue to squeeze it. Hear it sizzle?
Yeah.
It's exactly what you want.
Oh, so she makes it with can.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Aren't you glad you're here? Okay. And so that's cooking the bottom, which is exactly what you want because you want it crispy on both sides. That's what a potato latke is. Squeeze. And if as you could see, the oil's kind of pooling because it's not even.
You're not making them individual?
No, ma'am. But you'll see what we're gonna do. You know.
That's saving a lot.
Yes. And mess.
Yeah.
Except Adina Sussman already did this, so she already wrote the book. I would have a lot of competition. Hello.
Oh, that is a great idea.
Isn't that a great idea?
And I did think.
It's unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
So I still have potatoes that are in there, so it's not going to fill up the whole pan, but that's okay. And very impressive, isn't it impressive? So here we go. And then we'll move that here. Then we want to cover it. Cover it for 45 minutes, uncover it, because you want to keep it moist inside. So you want to cover it so that it gets cooked thoroughly inside. The last 15, 20 minutes, take the foil off and let the top crisp. I don't, because there's a lot of oil underneath, so I don't want to put, you could drizzle oil on the top. And I don't know if pardon?
Because you make it look so easy.
It really is if you don't think about it. Just don't think about it, just do it. It really is very simple. There isn't anything that, the one thing that, one of the reasons why I like to do this is because people think that cooking is really, really intimidating, and it's not. Recipes, if you can read, you can follow. If you have taste buds, you can understand what something's supposed to taste like. And so cooking is really very, very simple. You can make the simplest of ingredients put together can make a fabulous meal. And it doesn't have to take you a long time, and it doesn't have to be really complicated. It's usually the setup, and you're not going to do as much of this as I'm doing, but it's usually the setup that takes the time. The preparation is the easy part. You're not standing and stirring anything. So then we have, I have baked. Guess what we're having for dinner tonight? So here we go.
Oh, wow.
You got, I know, it's amazing. So you have sheet pan latkes. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut them in different quarters. You're going to serve in this same pan. So I went out and bought new ones. So it looked nice. There we go.
Restaurant Depot.
No, yeah, standard restaurant
I
supply.
mean, that's what I mean.
Yeah, standard on McDowell. Anyway, we're going to cut these and we're going to do toppings on them. There's so many different toppings, and I understand it's on your recipe sheet. Anything that you can think of that you want to put on a potato, do it. To make these sweet, use sweet potatoes and yams and add some honey to it. And you can have sweet latkes. You can have a savory board and you can have a sweet board. So I know, let me get this.
So are you carbs or are you?
These are dairy. Well, the potatoes are parve.
So to make sweet latkes, maybe like dates, I mean, toppings.
Dates,
maybe-
yeah, exactly. So let me tell you what I have. When I was going to, so here we go.
There's no turning up.
There's no turning over. There's no pan, right? No pan full of,
I use my Ulu. Do you have an Ulu?
what's an ulu? I'm learning something new every day.
That's the Alaskan.
Oh, I have one. Yeah, it's like, so if I wish, oh, it's in that drawer. I have my grandmother, my Bubba's,
Oh, so do I.
two of them from her made,
Chopped liver.
one was chopped liver, one was gefilte fish.
Oh,
And I've got them, yes. I have my grandmother's
hanging up.
hanging up, no, in a drawer somewhere.
Oh, no, I have.
So if you cut these up into, not bite size, a little more, so that it's a real nice appetizer. Cut them into squares. And then if you have artistic ability, which I don't, you can really make this beautiful. That's the cheese board queen right over there. Hani walked in. Yes. Oh, hi. Hi. So Hani is the cheese board queen, and she really does gorgeous cheese boards, and it's really kind of based on whatever you've added to it. So we can top some of these.
How did you make your date stuff with the top?
I took dates and I diced them.
That's it?
That's it. That's it. Now, let me tell you, luckily, so I was going to make some different cheeses. Oh, I have sour cream also. So I know, where's the sour cream?
How long was it in the oven?
It was in the oven about an hour.
About an hour.
In the oven about an hour
At
at
4?
425, and then I took the foil off. There's one more. So I was just going to do sour cream and mix it. Yeah, we're good. Oh, I don't know. 12:11. Okay. I was gonna, it's like a pause. Misha's European Market at 7th Street. It's like my favorite new place. It's not new. Kosher grocery store. Got in Tenuva, which are all Israeli dairy products, and they're excellent, excellent. They have cheeses. And so what I found, which again, another lifesaver, is this one is a cheese spread with garlic and dill.
Oh.
This one is a cheese spread with olives. Labna is like the Middle Eastern version, a cross between yogurt and sour cream. That's labna. There's another labna that has, I think, za'atar and olive oil. Then you can go traditional. You can do Oh, we have feta cheese. You can do some labna, and I'll show you. So let's start with that. We'll do a little bit of labna, like a little. A little dollop. And little slice of lox to make it look pretty. A little bit of lemon zest. Just a drop of lemon zest for color, for a little bit of taste, and some dill. There's also chives. There's also green onion. And there's your first one. Real pretty. The next one, you can use the labna. This one's garlic. And it's a spreadable cheese. So it's nice and light. Let me get these.
By you saying that it's a side dish.
What do you mean?
I don't know, I could eat it as a meal.
As what are you talking about?
The whole thing.
Oh, well, this is like, yeah, no, this is like a party board, like a cheese board of what you would do. Yeah, absolutely. So we have a little dollop of cheese, of the labna. You can put some avocado, a couple slices of avocado.
You could do tapenade, make it like
Yeah.
Mediterranean.
You could do whatever. You can do an olive. There's so many choices. Don't limit yourself. Whatever you think you would want to eat with a potato. We decided to leave off the bacon bits and sour cream. We decided to do that. We decided to leave that off, and a couple of pomegranate seeds. The next one we can do with mango.
This is just for pictures.
Ooh. Some fresh mango. Lynn brought me, that's dragon fruit, right? Dragon fruit. You can use persimmon. I mean, it's endless. As I say, on your recipe, there are certainly different suggestions. Let's see, we'll do mango and some dates. And you don't need a lot, it's just a taste.
You make savory and sweet.
You mix savory and sweet. We have, let's see, we'll do the spread with olives and we'll put salmon eggs. It's quite fancy. And so, I know, right? It's very fancy.
I think there was a
You should do a couple of each.
recipe in Jewish News that had.
Bacon?
Who would be surprised? Oh, I was going to do this. And some chives and capers. Chives. It's gorgeous. And when it's all filled and your counter looks beautiful, it's such a nice, for a Hanukkah buffet. I'm going to do some chives. There we go.
But this really, I mean, although it's very doable and quote easy, it's still a lot of work.
It's time. Yeah, but
It's a lot of work.
don't you want to impress people that come to your house?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. But it is not like this is easy. This is, I mean, it's doable, but I'm very impressed with your touchiness.
Okay. This one is labna with za'atar and olive oil. So we'll mix that one up.
So Benita, have you done it where you have?
I've not done, this is the first time I'm doing it.
First time doing it.
Yes.
So you could either do it all yourself have it all ready.
Yes,
Or
you can.
do like, instead of a
So-
taco bar, you can do a.
Yes, you can, which is why everything's out so that you can come up and put your own topping on. I wanted to do it that way. So I would do a few, but just so that you can see, but I have to tell you that if you're putting out a buffet and this is on there, it's very impressive. It's beautiful. It's your potato latkes. You can do a tray of zucchini latkes. You can do a tray of carrot latkes. You can do a tray, and they don't have to be this large. I did it this large because I have a lot of people, but if you wanted to do a variety of different types of latkes, yes, it's a lot of work, but I don't know.
You can even do this on a frying pan.
You can do this. You could, yeah, you could. But then,
Afterwards, though, you're not frying them.
exactly, you're not,
Right.
right, exactly. And so it is, in a sense, a bit of a time saver, and you're not, your cooktop stays clean. And your closet doesn't smell like fried onions.
Did you freeze them? Can you freeze them or would you freeze them?
No, because they'll never reheat properly. Yeah, no. The one thing about potato latkes, fresh out of the frying pan, fresh out of the oven. I don't think, now you can buy frozen ones, but they have a technique of the freezing. Trader Joe's are good ones, but you've got your individuals. Let's see, what should we do with this one? Oh, with some feta cheese, feta cheese, and we need something for color. So we'll put some olives. We'll put olives. Okay. I'm happy to do it unless you want to do it yourself, but I can go and then we can just serve them. I can kind of top them all. If you tell me.
Well, it's fun to try different things.
Okay, let me cut these up a little more.
So can I just make a comment?
It depends if it's a nice one. I just have to tell you, wait, I just have to tell you that the last in the kitchen that I did, because my nose runs, the last in the kitchen that I did, it ends up, it's on Zoom and Rabbi ends up putting it on Facebook and it's like everywhere. And so I get this lengthy email from an
Should I stop recording?
no, from an unidentified relative, but not from my side of the family, critiquing like my whole presentation, this whole email. And then lovely enough, the next day she came in for our 15-year gala. And she said, "Did you read my email?" I said, "Frankly, I didn't, because I didn't ask for a critique." So I have no idea what she said, but she decided to try and tell me. But, everybody's got whatever.
My comment was not a critique.
Okay, go right ahead.
Oh, that
My
was.
comment was
Forgot why
about,
she said
was
this.
about the calla lilies.
Oh, right.
It's everybody walked in, if you noticed, there were a lot of calla.
So Linda, tell them what you do.
And I Smile and Seniors actually, supports this, but I deliver flowers from Trader Joe's every Tuesday morning to Trader Joe's in Lincoln. And what we do is
They give away their flowers. Tell them what they do.
that are not sold from the previous day. So today, there was an unusually large and beautiful selection of flowers. Sometimes they're not as gorgeous as they were today, but I have like 9 calla lily plants that are beautiful, and I have a cat. Lilies are poisonous to cats,
Oh,
so I can't have any calla lilies in my house. But I decided, so I went to, Sunrise, and I went to other nursing homes this morning before I came here, and kibble, and, doing mine, so all the calla lilies here, maybe leave one for Benita, but they are to be taken by anybody here who wants one.
Oh, isn't that lovely?
Oh, very nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Now I'll go to Trader Joe's more often.
So every Trader Joe's gives away their flowers after,
Yeah, but they all.
right, but they all do it. Yes, through a charity, they all do it. They give away their flowers that they don't sell. And then, people bring them to, so,
My son,
okay.
my son-in-law is not.
Do you want me to help you, Benita?
Yes, I get
Sure.
so many flowers this morning that were delivered, and so I opened the door and I looked at the delivery person.
Now that the video's off,
Yes, I said, did I die?
Just not-
He had so many white roses.